Hi, Float Pool. I'm here with Kelly Leach, one of our step nurses in our float pool. And today we're going to be talking about the value and action of learning from our mistakes. So, Kelly, tell us what learning from our mistakes means to you.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we all know in healthcare we all make mistakes. It's a natural part of learning and growing, and being involved in those mistakes is what I really like to highlight. Sometimes you make a mistake and you're not aware of it, but learning from our mistakes, we need to be pulled in to talk about it so we can better learn and move forward.
That's great. Tell us about a time in your career that you're proud of how you responded to a mistake and you learned from it.
So many years ago when I was a new grad, I had a patient who had a G-tube that I had never seen before. It was placed at an outside facility. We didn't have the proper attachments from what I could see to actually give medications through this tube. So I had reached out to my charge nurse to come take a look at it. Unfortunately, it was not a very learning forward environment, so she would not come to the bedside. The provider team, when I reached out to them, said that the patient was alert and oriented ×4. She was very participatory in her own care, and I should trust what she was telling me to do. So I went ahead and got all of my meds prepped and everything, and as I was giving them to her, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't listen to myself. I kept doing what the patient told me. I ended up actually popping the balloon that was anchoring her G-tube in place, and unsurprisingly, the tube fell out. When I contacted the providers to let them know, they were, of course, absolutely furious. It was a place at an outside facility. Now there was additional things that we had to do and couldn't get the patient the medications they needed. So we ended up putting a Foley back in the hole to make sure the tunnel or track stayed open. Got the patient eventually everything they needed. So I was really proud at the time. I know I had reached out to the providers, I had reached out to the charge nurse and done everything, and then listened to my patient like everyone had suggested to me. It didn't actually go exactly how I wanted it to, of course, but the patient overall ended up being okay, and believe you me, I have never done that ever again in my career.
What a great example and a great opportunity to learn from that situation. Last question is, what would you tell somebody in our float pool who's wanting to work to improve in the value of action of learning from our mistakes?
Yeah, I think we do a really good job here with our RL system and the follow-up. I think I hear most often that people are really nervous to receive an RL and get that follow-up question about the situation. If I had been here when this mistake happened, I would have actually been incredibly grateful for someone to reach out and ask my side of the story, all the steps that I had taken to maintain safety for this patient. In all reality, what happened at that facility was I heard absolutely nothing about it until a couple months later, when the patient's family member came in trying to sue us for the fact that the tube had gotten popped out. It had needed to be replaced, all this other stuff in the background. No manager ever followed up with me. All I really got was the patient's family member yelling at me in the hallway because he remembered who I was. So I think in order to grow, we need to get a little more comfortable being uncomfortable, getting those RLs, and really knowing that our environment here is to learn from those mistakes and grow so that we don't make the same mistakes again, or if there's a system problem, that we're able to fix something in the background so it's not just all on us as the bedside nurses.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, and wishing everybody a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!